Okay, hi. If you have your mobile phone ringer on, please turn it off. I'm going to do the same. Okay, this is going to be a very hands-on lecture. I've spent tens of hours, at least 30, 40 hours on this presentation, and it's because I want it to be useful to you. I usually don't have to spend so much time on a presentation, but this time I feel like it's hard work. So, put it in another way. I'm revealing to you the secrets of how Chinese monetize mobile games. And you're going to see the numbers, and the numbers are, you cannot dispute the numbers because they're real. The game that I'm going to present to you came from a game that everybody knows if you're in game industry. It's Contra. And it's an adaptation of Contra by Tencent. The game's called Contra Returns. You're going to see the numbers, but I'll just tell you right now. In the past 2 years, so they just had their 2 years anniversary last month with this month. And in average, over the 24 months, every month they generate $40 million in Chinese market alone. And I'll tell you other things. The game has failed in Korea, and the game has failed in some of the markets. I don't want to say many markets because I only know about one or two. But that's not to say what they're doing has a lot for us to learn. Okay. So this game, Contra Returns, was commercially launched in June of 2017. First year's income is here, second year. So this is all the breakdown. And I didn't go to some internet website and get these numbers. You cannot find these numbers anywhere. I spoke with people who worked on this project. I don't give lectures based on what I find from Google. All right, so in average, monthly income is $40 million US dollars. This is the original title. Actually, I don't have the mouse, otherwise this is actually a video, but you can probably recall from your memory what the game looked like. Oh, cool. Thank you. Just to refresh your memories, you can have multiplayers, and you have those things, pillboxes that you shoot and they drop down upgrades. It was great for 80s. Okay, so keep this image in your mind. This is the same game done with a different spin. And I have to tell you, I've been in game industry for 33 years. When I was trying to reverse engineer or dissecting this game, I was suffocated. I was suffocated because I knew what I was looking at. And I actually floundered for a few days, not knowing how to put together this PowerPoint, and I thought I was going to screw up my presentation because I don't know how to put it together because there's just too much information, and I don't know how to organize them. I mean, this is probably how the scientists felt when they saw the first photo from Hubble telescope. But that's how I felt when I started looking into this game. So I just, I downloaded this game. I started taking screenshots. And I kept taking screenshots until I've taken more than 100 screenshots. And the raw data was just too much, and I couldn't organize them. So I've decided to organize it this way. We'll look at the screen. This is the main menu, and I'm going to break it down to top, down, bottom, left and right, and then the centerpiece. That's just how I'm going to do it. The biggest source of confusion or massive amount of data actually came from the events, the ops events. The Chinese call it events. I don't know if you call it anything else, but you're going to see them. Okay, right part of the menu. It's right over here. So, I can tell you, this is the shop. Just the shop alone, I can probably give a 3 hours lecture, but it's going to be 30 seconds. With the shops alone, obviously they break it down. And, I had this interesting conversation with the game designer of this game. I said, the shops looks like the same to every other Tencent games shops. So do you share source code? Do you share some kind of library? Do you guys have a tools group? And he looked at me kind of like weird, like I'm weird, that he says no. He says, we're in competition with other studios. I say, okay, you came from a very big studio, Timmy Studio. Do you guys share the same source code within your studio? He says, no. So I thought about it, and you guys should know this. So I was a lead programmer on Madden football. We also never share source code on Madden. Like every year to year, we had to rewrite the source code from scratch. At most, we look at the source code from before, but we wrote it from scratch out of pride. It's not a very economical way to do it. Now, I will tell you, they're working on Metal Slug returns. So it's the same treatment with Metal Slugs, and they are using this source code. But it's very different. So it's not code sharing. It's code dropping or code dumping. So they just dump this on you, and this is supposed to be helpful. Whether it is helpful or not, it's up to you. Anyway, so that's on the shops. And they have this thing called benefits. It's not what you think. But they're basically deals, upsells. And then events. And they don't just call it events. They actually have anniversary. They have events with styles, if it's Halloween or is it loot boxes and so on. So these are all different types of events. And over here, there's time-limited upsell event. This is event calendar. They have so many events that actually have a calendar in the game. And you'll see that they also have an email system. I mean, in a way, it's not a game. Or it's more than a game. It's a platform. It's media. And this is another event, which is a mini game. So this is becoming very popular in China. Sometimes we just say meta games is very important in China. But that's really too big of a category, because a meta game can be what? Can be actually reusing the elements from the same game to make a different game. Does that make sense? Like the characters, the backgrounds, they can take those elements and make it a new, simpler game. Now, if the results of the mini game can add to your endeavors in the main game, that's great. If not, it doesn't matter, because we need to give users something different to do. We'll get to that. They actually have a preferred minutes of gameplay per player per day. So based on where you are, if they think the 90 minutes is the right amount of time for you to play in a day, if you're below or if you're above, they're going to push different events to you. During my investigation of this game, I also got very confused because I pressed the same button twice. I got different results. So you see what I'm getting at. That's how deep this game is. You have a user interface. You click the same button, at different time of day, or at your different stage of development in the game, you actually see different pop-ups. And this is a 2-year anniversary event. Okay, this is the top part of the menu. This was actually a 1-hour lecture, and now I have to cram it down to half the time. Okay, so this is actually quite incredible. Usually, the top part of any game is the most prominent place, right? You'll usually look at the upside. That's why all the scores, your amount of money, your progress, your HP, XP, it's all there. Everything here that looks like a display, they're actually all clickable. I mean, sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not very obvious, but I actually did try to click everything that I thought wouldn't do anything, but everything does something. So if you click your profile photo, you go to My Account, and in My Account, you can't see it, it's very blurred, so it actually tells you which guild you belong to. In my case, I'm not qualified to join a guild yet because I haven't spent enough time in the game, so that's actually a motivation for me to play further in the game. It also shows me that I'm not part of any group, or hunting group. It's not guild, it's a smaller, like, hunting party. Because I also have not achieved that level. I spend most of the time dissecting the game, not playing the game. And then I can change my profile's background, I can change my character, and I can share to my WeChat moments just by one click of a button. And then they have another button, is to switch account. Because a lot of hardcore players, they have more than one game accounts. So they don't want people to quit out of the game and then come back. They allow you to be able to just click one thing and you can switch account. Now, if you pay attention, WeChat has the same function. Okay, so seriously, this is quite blown away to me because most games don't even have this button. Like, how to set up your account. How do I want to project my persona to other players in the game. So that's what this button is for. And this is VIP privilege, so you can just pay, X amount of dollar per month, so you're getting more resources in the game. And whether you pay or you don't pay, the amount of resources is based on a scientific or experiential factor. You'll see that in a separate page. Okay, first time purchase bonus, you'll know this. And then by one click of this, so that W, like internet button, you go to the game's website to gain access to all the FAQs. So you don't leave the game. You actually go to a window, go to the official website of the game, within the game. And then if you click WeChat, they show you all the benefits you get as a WeChat user. They encourage you to use your WeChat account to log in. So when you get tired of the game, when you uninstall the game, they can still reach you on WeChat. This is very powerful. They also have an internal email system, so when the system shuts down the server or whatever, they want to give you some rewards, they do it through their email system. And then they have a configuration screen, and in their configuration screen, you can set up your privacy setting, like how much information about you would like other people to know. I have to say this is quite progressive. How many games do you know have privacy setting? Obviously, if you click the gold coins, you can buy gold coins. If you click the diamond, you can buy diamonds. And you see that network latency icon? You can click it, and it will tell you what's the latency right now. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's the small detail that they pay attention to. And because this is potentially can be a network game, you can play PvP, that's why it's important. So this is configurations. I sort of blow it up so you can see more. You can record the video, record the game just by doing the setting here. So I think those two functions are very worth noting. One is how do you can record the game. The only thing that I don't know if it's iPhone's limitation, which is in some video recording, they actually turn on the camera and record the game at the same time, and the player's face appears in a little box in the corner. I really like that setting because once you record it once, you don't have to do any editing. There you go on, whatever, Twitter, Instagram. But I haven't really personally seen it in a game. So I have a feeling recording the game screen, and turn on the camera at the same time is doable on iPhone.
It's doable on both. We used to do it in...
Cool.
When I was at Unity, we had every player we were doing it. It's a default function.
Cool, okay. So more people should do that. Okay, and this is my account. Change the background, change the frame, I've not joined a legion yet. I've not joined a team yet. And show it off. And this is to switch account. Okay, this is bottom part of the menu. So they just show you heroes, because, you know, the two most important things in the game for monetization is, one is heroes, second one is weapons. The game designer just told me this straight out. And I think every game designer should know exactly how your game monetizes and what's keeping your players in the game. What's your retention factors. So, you know, look at those two buttons, you know. And if you're a player in the game, after a while, you're going to know you need better heroes and you need better weapons. And that's where you spend the money. Okay, and then they show you different quests are very important. A lot Chinese players like to be led to do tasks. They hate exploring, and because a lot of times they just don't know what to do next. So when they don't know what to do next, they will say the game sucks. So you need to tell them what they need to do next. Tutorial becomes very important, daily quest becomes very important, and that needs to take up most of the user's times. Okay, and they have chat. Oh yeah, they even have a radio station button in the game. If you click it, you're going to see like Instagram type features, like TikTok, you know, type. Well, TikTok is 15 seconds, so this is like players just go open a channel and they start singing, or they record videos of them playing this game. So it's new additional content surrounding the game. Most of the time, there's only one channel. It's playing like you know, electric music, you know, that's themed to the game. So you can actually go there and turn it on or turn it off, or you can listen to other players playing. And then they also tell you you can get different rewards next time if you go to a certain level. Okay, this is left part of the menu. That's a ranking chart, and look at how many categories they have on the ranking. The reason is obvious. They want to give you as many dimensions or metrics as possible to make you feel good. So, you know, if I don't have the best firepower, maybe I can lose the most, or maybe I can die the most number of times. So there are all kinds of ranking system. And they actually have a button called I want to be more powerful. So it's very verbose, very straightforward, and they show you exactly what you need to do. Now, you're going to notice some of these features are actually redundant. I thought about this, and as game designers, we rarely do this, because we think logically, like that function is already there, buried 3 levels down in the menu. But what Tencent does is, since this is important, I'm going to paste it over here, there, and there in different places, just to make sure you don't miss it. And they have a button to show you what's your total firepower. So the important stuff, like where you are in the game, they stick it to your face over and over again. Okay, the center of the screen, this takes the most real estate on the screen. Actually, they're showing you your character, and when you go to what level, what are you going to get? So, you know, most of the time I just click this button because I want to go through the story. But they're telling you at level 16 you get PvP. You know, at level 20 you get co-ops, and you know, level 12 you get like kind of like esports feature, and then 19 you get more daily quests, and so you know you always have something to look forward to. And they even have something that they didn't say that the game designer told me. At level 23 your guild feature will be opened. So maybe after I've attained level 16, this real estate will be replaced by that information. Okay, the early user experience. On the first day of joining the game, there are only approvals and rewards. Now, I'm not saying You should all do this. I'm just telling you that's what this game does, and it works in China. They believe the young kids today, when they go play a video game, they don't want frustrations, they don't want challenges, and they don't want explorations. They want to be told of what to do, and when they do it, there are certain rewards there. So it's a very different mentality. Whatever I'm saying, just keep reminding yourself, $40 million a month. The success is a fact. Starting from the second day, the money-paying players start getting more resources. The rate of getting resources, if you don't pay, it's 0.8x versus 3x to money-paying users. So whenever you're considering VIP-type privileges, this is what they use, and they claim they get these numbers through experience. The first 3 days, the ops team look at the players' behaviors in the granularity of hours, and after that, it will be days. And they also focus a lot on play session length per day, not necessarily number of play sessions. And it may be because play session length matters more than number of play sessions. I thought they're both important, but this is there. At the end of the day, they don't want to track 50 KPIs. So they actually have different people responsible for before 7 days kind of retention, and after 7 days kind of retention. And from company's perspective, they pay more attention on 7-day plus retentions, because that's where you start getting the money. 3 techniques to increase engagement. One is promote, cooperations between players. By the way, I didn't come up with this. I didn't create this. This by a Tencent game designer, it's like mantra. I mean, when he told me in Chinese, he almost rhymed, and he didn't even think. It's like, these are the 3 things you do. And I thought about it. I couldn't say anything to dispute what he's telling me. It makes sense. Now, obviously, this is not 100%, but this could be 90%. It's not bad for 3 things. And the second one is encourage communication. The third one is to instigate conflicts. Now, this is obviously a network game, because in a single-player game, to instigate conflicts, that'll be a PvE situation. Purpose of events. Okay. This is, I think, is very important, because I asked him, there are hundreds and hundreds of events you guys do, and I see so many screens, and I don't know how to organize them. Why do you do them? Are there certain logic in, when you do an event, what are you trying to achieve? He said, easy. Number 1, increase engagement. And the metrics is the number of sessions per day. The second one is to stimulate consumptions, upsell. And so he told me, when you see the screen with a big gun or a big hero in the middle and the art is usually beautiful, they're selling you something. The third one is bring back players if the activities slow down. So this is really cool. Most game companies I know don't do this. So they actually have people on the phone calling people, we're so sorry that you left the game. Is there anything we can do? Now, who does that? But these are the players who played your game. Their opinions actually matter a lot, but most people don't want to hear negative feedback. So, and they actually break it down to, have they uninstalled the game already, or they still have the game, then they will communicate with the players through notification. Okay, the main changes to original game. Simple, I just told you. Upgrades to characters and weapons. The original game, you cannot do this. And then the next one is collecting. Collecting is very important to Chinese players. And the third one is in-app purchases. You cannot do that in the original game. The takeaway, this is the last page. What's mentioned in this presentation is a set of proven successful features. I can tell you, if you go to AFK Arena, if you go to another Chinese successful game, you're going to see very similar blueprint. Obviously, that's action-themed, side-scroller, But if you go to a card battle game, you're going to see something similar, especially on the commercial side. Now, I'll tell you, I think the core gameplay sucks. I can see the screen flickers. I mean, the frame rate is not good, and the character's animation, I don't think it's good. But it's not important. We have to remind ourselves, $40 million a month in one market alone, and it has to mean something, and we have to learn something from it. And the fact that they're using the same framework and to repeat and to do it again, it's something that we need to think about. So Western game companies place more attention, making games fun to play, and with attractive graphics. Nothing wrong with it. However, Chinese game companies are placing more of their attentions on metagames, depth in gameplay, social features, network features, customer services, and monetization features. Now, you can say they're focusing on anything other than the game itself. Well, $40 million a month. The last one, Tencent is already working on Metal Gear. Yeah, already said that. So I think that's it. That's my presentation. If we have time, I'm more than happy to answer questions.
I think we're going to have to move on, but Monte, that was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.